Hey everyone, so let's continue here, understanding a bit more of how Snowflake can help you out. Okay, so we saw here how Snowflake fits in all the stages a little bit, but let's dig a bit deeper in Snowflake features that help you out on that. Okay, another talk from my side to help you out to understand some of the features, and then of course later on we're gonna deep dive them technically on how to implement, right? Okay, so we saw that the data can come from a variety of sources online, transactional processes like with databases that we mentioned before, enterprise applications, SAP, CRM, ERPs, third-party data, web data log, IoT. So it's huge. It's a variety of data, and through ETL, through streaming, we ingest this data to a platform. And in this case, we are using, of course, Snowflake. And here we're gonna see the areas that Snowflake is currently tackling, and more to come. More features are being announced. Okay, and here is just a bit reference from where this picture came from. And okay, let's take a look on how the 6 areas are tackled by Snowflake. So let's go to data warehousing is the one we already expect, because Snowflake born to be a great agnostic data warehouse. Okay, and how it was born and why does it have some advantages over other data warehouses and other data platforms? Because, for example, AWS things, Google and Azure things, they were born in on-premises world, and then they had to be adapted to run in the cloud. Okay, so for example, they created Hadoop to run in on-premises clusters, but then the cloud became more available to everyone, and then they adapted Hadoop to run on cloud services, and that's exactly what Databricks does, for example, and then they have to be adapted. And then Snowflake, since it's an advantage of being recently born, is that it has been born in the cloud and only for the cloud, and it takes advantages of never being thought to run on premises. All right, so this is a huge factor on giving some flexibility to Snowflake developers. And of course, data warehouse, we expect it's nice. It's a columnar oriented storage that helps a lot on processing structured data and some structured data really fast, and of course delivering some reports as expected also. But let's go to the second feature, which is then the data lake, right? Can we work in Snowflake as a data lake? Yes, you can, because Snowflake supports basically on the structural side of it. Snowflake supports you to save your structured data, expected, right? Semi-structured data, we know that other tools do that like BigQuery, and unstructured data. So you can store all your data in Snowflake if you want. Okay, honestly, personal opinion is that usually we save that on the company cloud storage, could be one of the big 3 providers, and then we move the necessary data to Snowflake, and then in Snowflake we organize it better, right? So, but you definitely can do that, and you can just drop your raw data, because the storage cost for Snowflake is sometimes even cheaper than storing to an object storage. We're gonna cover that a bit later. Data engineering workloads. This is basically the focus of this course. Okay, we're gonna work a bit on the data engineering workloads and how Snowflake help us out. So, despite of being a database and a data warehouse, we have features in Snowflake such as streams, tasks, Snowpipe streaming, okay, and some other connectors, SDK, with Snowpark SDK, and we also have SnowSQL as a client, and those are all used for data engineering workloads, and we're gonna cover a lot on this in this course, right? And I'm gonna even leave that for later. Data exchange is another great tool. You can exchange data internally within Snowflake accounts, within Snowflake, and you can share data externally to, for example, your stakeholders or your third parties partners, for example. Internally, what you can do, you can share your data, create a share. For example, let's suppose you have a marketing database and then you want to share the full database or a schema or tables. You can just create a clone, create a share of it, and creating a share, you can give access to anyone else, create a new user for them, and then external people can even access that. And internally, you can create clones of it. So for example, you have zero copy cloning. This is an amazing feature and is quite a lot used, for example, to separate environments. Let's say you have a production database and then you want to test a new data, new transformations, and then you can just create a clone of the production database. And then let's say you have a dev database, and then what you do all the transformations in the dev database, but actually the dev database is not a physical clone, is not a physical copy of the prod database. It's just a pointer. And for example, you will have data in both databases, full data in both databases, but you just pay for the data that is in prod database, and then the cloned, you just pay for the data that's changing. That, for example, you're applying more transformations to test new transformations, new features, or whatever you want, okay? And then later on, you can just delete it and push your new features for the production, for example. So this is amazing. You can clone without paying for anything, right? And then another thing that Snowflake is working every time even more is enabling data applications. So for example, currently it's really easy. To use Snowpark and to run Python applications inside of Snowpark using the SDK and deploying the packages to it. But you can also easily deploy dashboards built in Streamlit with Python with seamlessly integration to any Snowflake data. You can build those dashboards and they are hosted inside Snowflake, and you can deliver and govern. That's the best part. You can do all the governance of this dashboard to whoever you want to share through Snowflake controls, Snowflake airbag control to Snowflake roles. It's pretty interesting. And even more to come because it's in private preview currently, the Snowflake container service. It means that you're gonna be able to orchestrate container applications inside Snowflake, right? And for example, you're gonna be able to run your Docker images, have customized applications, customized machine learning models, totally customized in the way you want, in the way you wish, completely isolated. So this is gonna be an amazing feature. And what else regarding this? And also recently, yesterday, today is 4th of November, yesterday was announced your customized way to run large language models. So we know that's a very trendy thing right now. And then you'll be able to deploy your language models that will also interact with your internal data plus your model data, and you can even interact with that through dashboard. So you're integrating everything in the same application, in the same platform. That's even amazing. For data science, as I explained, you can run, you will be able to run in container service. You will be also able to run this. You are already also able to run this on SDK and Python, Snowpark SDK. So feel free to run it. And also one of the things that fosters a lot of data scientists to run models in Snowflake is that Snowflake has special processing power for running data science cases. So you can configure your virtual data warehouse. It means your cluster. You can configure your cluster to be optimized for your workloads of data science. Okay. And something that really interesting in the end when you deliver the data is that, okay, we expect reporting and ad hoc analysis with SQL, even ad hoc dashboards with Snowsight, real-time analytics. We're gonna touch on that. We're not gonna work on that, but we're gonna touch a bit more on the concept of that. And something really interesting that other platforms doesn't offer is data monetization. Once you have your curated data, you can offer this data on marketplace and sell it as a third-party data for other Snowflake users. Of course, you can also buy it if you want to enrich your data sets with different data, let's say weather data, pricing data, currency data. You can also do COVID data. There's a lot of data sets on that. There are free versions and then there are paid versions, all right? And just to finish, a bit of a list I will go through really quickly. So of Snowflake features. So it's a SaaS application, software as a service. You mean you manage just what you want to create. Everything else, infrastructure-wise, is mainly curated and governed by Snowflake. Okay, automatic encryption. You don't need to worry with that. All data you're working within Snowflake, it's encrypted, even the data that's going outside. Time travel is an amazing feature. I would translate it as basically it's a version control for your data, which means that you can, for example, run a query to check how was the state of your data 1 hour ago, 2 days ago, up to 90 days ago, to see what happened with your data in that time. So up to from 0 to 90 days, you can time travel your data. Disaster recovery, totally controlled by Snowflake. Secure data share, so that data exchange tools that I explained to you, but they are totally secured. Multi-cluster, this is really interesting way of setting up a lot. You can set up clusters in a way that they automatically scale up and scale down for you. So this is the multi-cluster feature, and you can set up that as easy as a couple of clicks or a small query, right? Search optimization is really used in virtual warehouses or in clusters that are running data science, so you can foster better optimization, especially on search algorithms, right? Column level security, failover, which is called failsafe. So if everything goes wrong, you can call Snowflake, you can open a ticket to Snowflake and ask them to retrieve your database that was fully deleted, let's say. Automatic partitioning, you don't need to worry if that. Snowflake finds the best partition for you when you're querying, okay? And the built-in dashboard tool works with some structured data, which we're gonna cover in this course. Snowpark, you can run Python, Java, and other languages to come. Scheduling through tasks and streams. You have CDC, like change data capture with streams. You can automatically check, change the data and capture and do something you want based on a condition. It's cloud agnostic. You can deploy in all the 3 big cloud providers. You have the app service and the Streamlit app integration seamlessly. Well, that's quite a lot. We cover some of them, and then in the future, we're gonna deep dive on the data engineering features.